Well, the way that they're playing now, the Eagles, I'm not saying they're going to go undefeated or win the Super Bowl, but I think they can hang with anybody. I'll take
Yeah,
my
they can
chances
definitely.
against any team, any place. Like when your
Oh,
defense is
oh,
playing like that, and you have a rushing attack, that stuff travels.
I agree. I agree.
Philly pride insists that's all. Andrew Rappin and Wild Bulls. Together they talk sports and dreams. Right behind the scenes. It seems. Philly verse and Wild. Hit the call. Who's the greatest? Who will fall with this rivalry? Loud and clear. Join the chat. It's time to cheer. Sports and culture all in one. Catch the fire, feel the fun. Andrew Sistat, Brad unite. Philly and Y in the spotlight.
Welcome everyone. The Philadelphia Eagles, 9-2, a game out of first in the NFC, a game out of first in the NFL. Just that feeling good.
Yeah, I totally predicted this happening. Obviously, I've never said a bad word about this Eagles team. Um, yeah, no, they're really good, man. They are really clicking on all cylinders. The rushing attack is unbelievable. Defense is playing extremely well. Jalen Hurts has been very safe, very efficient, and effective with throwing the football. He is not creating any turnover-worthy plays. He is running when he has to. He's not avoiding the pocket too early. They look like a really well-oiled machine right now, and it's the best they've looked
What are
in
you?
2 years.
What are we doing here? We can't talk about the Eagles and start with Jalen Hurts right now. That's not the story.
Well, the story is the rushing attack. Yeah.
The story is not the rushing attack; it's the running back, the one who's doing the rushing.
Yeah, and I think you know me well enough to know that I've always very much been a running backs don't matter guy. And boy, is Barkley just making me look dumber and dumber by the day.
No, dude, it's
Um,
never been that running backs don't matter. It's that in order for a team to have a good running game, and for running backs to be successful, no matter how good the running back is, there needs to be a good running scheme, a good offensive scheme. Needs to be good offensive line. There needs to be holes to run through. That being said, the better the running back, the better the running game will be. The running backs matter. It's just the running back needs the right offensive line and right scheme to be successful.
yeah, and
He's awesome though.
they kind and they kind of work against each other, right? Because even when he was with the Giants, yeah, they didn't have the best offensive line. I mean, they were pretty bad, but also he didn't. I mean, they had no other skill position players on the Giants. So, like, think
Yeah,
about
they
this.
they had an anemic offense. They had a bad quarterback, bad offensive line, bad receivers. They even mostly had a bad defense, which doesn't help because you're always behind. And you have to throw anyway.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that makes this Eagles offense so dangerous, and I've been very impressed with the play calling over this winning streak here. But it's and Barkley's again, he's unbelievable. But it's almost like pick your poison. Do you want to take your chances with Barkley, or do you want to leave AJ Brown, Devontae Smith one on the outside? Like it's really, and not to mention, the offensive line's playing extremely well right now. So yeah, you want to give Hurts all day in the pocket while AJ Brown is one with your safety. Like good luck.
To add to that, though, I would say the threat of Jalen Hurts running
Mm-hmm.
also.
Totally. Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
huge impact. That's a huge aspect of the offense.
Oh, it's huge. Yeah. It's just another dynamic that a defense has to prepare for. And he looks just physically so much more spry this year. It's funny. Everyone, I think we might have talked about this before, but everyone's kind of like, "Oh, when did he get hurt last year?" Like there was
You
I think
remembered him
there I think
play.
there was a pretty clear play in the actually funny enough in the Rams game last year in LA where he took off on a run. He kind of planted his leg. It looked awkward, and I remember thinking, "Huh, that didn't look too good in the moment." And yeah, he just kind of slowly diminished from there. But he looks very spry. He looks fast. He looks strong, very powerful, and like I said, he's throwing the ball very well, very efficiently. He's running when he can, when he has to, picking up blitzes. He's not. Josh Allen, but I don't want him to be Josh Allen. I don't care. Like, I don't need him to be. So I need him to manage the game, escape with his legs when he needs to, not turn the ball over, and give me a handful of special plays throughout the course of the game. And that's going to be their formula to win. But back to Barkley, he's so much fun to watch when he's on your team. Like, it's insane. I was trying to think of like a comp for him, like historically in my lifetime.
For the Eagles?
No, just in the NFL in general. And like, I can't really think of one.
Like, you mean in terms of like the type of profile, like the skill set, or you mean just like?
I mean the overall, like how good he is and his unique skill set. Like the first,
Adrian Peterson.
So that was the first thing that I thought of. But I mean, Adrian Peterson's not catching a 30-yard wheel route over a cornerback and toe tapping in the end zone.
The game was a lot different than
no, that's fair. Running wise, I thought of Adrian Peterson. The passing game is just so impressive with him, and he just the
McCaffrey.
Well, let's not go down that road. Just the patience that he showed. It's patience, power, like the footwork, just his ability to cut. It's crazy, man. It's like he's a combination of LaShawn McCoy and like Derrick Henry. Like there's so much shiftiness, but he's like so powerful at the same time.
The shiftiness and the cutting, like I think it was the first 70-yard touchdown. So Saquon 255 rushing yards, 302 all-purpose yards, 270 plus rushing touchdowns in the second half. That first one, he had that really, really nice cut. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. And just the ability, like, when was the last time you saw a guy of his size just pull away from the secondary like that? I mean, it's the guy he's absolute freak of nature. He's awesome. Can't say enough good things about him. People are talking like he should be the MVP. They're never going to give it to a running back, but
I mean,
I think, yeah.
Let's stop with the hysteria. MVP. I mean,
no, I agree, but I mean, it's going to come down to him or Derrick Henry for Offensive Player of the Year. Yeah, and that's who they play next week. So that'll be the
funny thing that how the NFL works that way. Like the MVP is a quarterback, yet the Offensive Player of the Year is not a quarterback.
I know.
I mean, like a lot of times it is, but it's very open for it to not be a quarterback every year. But the MVP is not.
Right.
Which doesn't really make much sense, but
it does not. No. But yeah, listen, they're in a really good spot. I'm super encouraged. They did suffer some pretty big losses yesterday, so hopefully, we already know that one guy's out for the year, which sucks.
So Brandon Graham out for the year. Huff is out. When's Huff coming back?
Huff, I heard that they were basically resting him for like the playoff push. So maybe he comes back a week or two before, but he's still going to be out for the foreseeable future.
And he wasn't doing well before he got hurt, right? He was doing better than early in the year, but he wasn't doing necessarily well.
Correct. But now we lost like the two top edge guys on the team. So at this point, we just need bodies,
Yep. Almost lost Sweat too.
Yeah.
He went down, right? Yeah.
Sweat. And, Brandon Graham is the biggest, really sucks, man. He's like one of my favorite Eagles ever. Dude he's awesome. He's actually playing really well.
Now.
No. Well, you mean for, instead of retiring, you mean?
No, I'm saying like this wasn't he didn't really have a full season to end his career. Maybe he decides to come back. I'm just asking. I have no idea.
Maybe. He was playing pretty well this year.
Yeah.
Last night he was actually having the best game of the season for him. Had a really, really huge sack on a third down on Stafford, a couple tackles for loss, and it's a real shame. He's been like the heart and soul of this defense for 15 years now. So it sucks. It would be a shitty way for him to go out. But this was his swan song. He was pretty clear about it. He signed a 1-year deal. This was going to be his last year, and it sucks. And it seemed, who knows? People are in the heat of the moment. They're emotional, but he seemed very much like very emotional. Kind of felt like it was the end.
Let me ask you, regarding the pass rush, how much of an impact is Jalen Carter in the middle on the edge rushing. And I'm asking because could you put bodies at the edge, but because Jalen Carter is drawing so much focus of the game planning and the defense, does that make it easier for a league average, borderline fringe starting pass rush, edge rusher get to the quarterback? How do you think that impacts it?
I mean, in theory, you would think so, but still, it took. Maybe now that they're really gelling and really playing well as a defensive line. Early in the year, it did not because yeah, again, you had guys had really slow starts. Josh Sweat was bad to start the year. Bryce Huff was very bad to start the year. Nolan Smith bad to start the year. All of these guys, including Jalen Carter, I think, have
Yeah.
really turned it up.
Well, you made it
in this
seem
winning
like there was
streak
no
here.
chance they were going to turn it around. So, I mean,
I mean, did you watch the Buccaneers game earlier in the year? I mean,
I
it
did.
was horrible, horrible.
So, last episode, I said that the Eagles, I don't see more than 2 losses on the schedule. What do you think about that prediction?
Yeah, I mean, you can almost chalk up the. So they're playing the Ravens in Baltimore next week. You can kind of chalk that up to a loss.
No,
Um,
don't. You can't do that. You can't do that.
it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to lose that game. AFC
I'd
opponent.
expect it to be a loss, but I wouldn't chalk it up as a loss.
Okay, yes, that's fair. Yeah, the schedule really lightens up though. Towards the end of the year, they still have the Panthers, they have the Giants, they have Washington, they have Dallas. The only real tough games left are again
Washington, Pittsburgh.
Well, you're right, exactly.
Yeah.
Which Washington seems to be falling apart. Pittsburgh, I wouldn't say they're falling apart, but they're certainly not playing as well. They're just not explosive enough. They just play a very old school ground and pound. They're going to beat the shit out of you. You know, they're going to out physical you defensively. But yeah, they're not going to come in and put 31 points on you. So yeah, so the Ravens and the Steelers, I would say, are the 2 toughest games. And then yeah, there's a lot of winnable games outside of that. The thing that sucks is that I mean the Lions also are not losing at all.
The Lions are awesome.
I mean the Eagles are on a 7-game winning streak and haven't made up any ground within on that 1 seed. So it's pretty nuts. I mean, curious to see.
That's
it kind
huge.
of yeah,
I mean-
kind of feels like the Eagles and Lions are on a collision course for the NFC Championship game.
I
So
mean, I think Green Bay is legitimate.
sure, yeah, totally.
Minnesota, I think, is good too.
hmm
But I definitely would agree. I mean, I think I said this last episode. The Eagles are the second best team in the NFC.
Thank you.
So what do you, you're welcome. So what do you think about AJ Brown? He six catches, 7 targets, 109 yards, a touchdown. What do you think about his game?
I think he's a monster. I think the guy is. It's funny. I think it was at Collinsworth that said he said something along the lines of, "There's guys." I love Collinsworth. I think he's funny, and some of the stuff he says is just outlandish. But I think he made an interesting point where he said something along the lines of, "There's guys that you can't cover, and there's guys that you can't tackle." And AJ Brown is both of them. So this guy,
I didn't
he
catch
gets
that.
open.
I wasn't listening with the volume on.
Yeah, he gets open. He is like the perfect football player. He's a great route runner. He's got super strong hands. He makes guys miss. He overpowers guys. He's everything that you want in your number 1 receiver. And it's really good just to have him there. He's such a big part of their offense. And again, with him on the outside, that opens up things for Saquon in the middle, because you don't want to have to leave your secondary one-on-one with AJ Brown. He'll make you pay every time. So another great game. What sucks is that it feels like they really haven't had their full squad for that much of the year. You know, they missed Devontae Smith for a couple games. Obviously, AJ Brown was out for a little while. Dallas Goedert. So like, if they can continue to win and then get all their guys back come playoff time, like they got a really good shot at making some noise.
On the offense you're talking about, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. They haven't really had everyone at the same time. How's the offensive line?
Great.
On a week to week basis, what are
Great.
you seeing?
Great. Again, another unit that's had to plug and play some guys here and there, but really, really good. Jordan Mailata is back from injury. He is mauling guys. Mekhi Becton's had a very, very good year. Even he missed a little bit of time with a concussion, but yeah, that's another unit. They're they're playing more together. They're more familiar with each other. They have the continuity. They're gelling and they're manhandling people. And towards the end of the game, it's interesting. It kind of feels, if you watch the Eagles this year, that is like exactly what they've been doing in this win streak. They just wear on teams, and at the end of the game, like Saquon Barkley's had so many of these gigantic runs at the end
Second
of
half.
games, and and it's like, how much can your defense take of these guys who are all 375 pounds just destroying you over and over again, and
Saquon,
eventually
right?
it pops. Yeah.
Even Saquon doing a lot of like physical running into guys in the first half, and then goes on these big, like you said, he has the big runs in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think there's definitely something to that. Also, I've noticed the Eagles' defense being a lot better in the second half, also, and the stats back that up as well.
Mm-hmm.
Even in this game, the Rams, they had like 120 yards of offense in the first quarter.
Yeah, the first two drives they walked right down the field. Eagles got a fumble close to the red zone, so that helped out. But yeah, second drive they marched right down the field, scored a touchdown, and then they didn't really give anything up after that. They had that couple of really lame pass interference calls on the Eagles. Whatever.
You wouldn't be saying whatever if they lost, but yes,
it
wasn't close.
Not. Yeah, of course not. Yeah, defense is awesome. Secondary's playing extremely well. Linebackers are flying all over the place. Jalen Carter's dominant. Just the edge rushers. You look at the list of edge rushers available. I think we did that, one of the Hassan Reddick episodes way back when. But it's not a very inspiring list. So they got to get Josh Sweat back. They got to get Bryce Huff back, and they're going to have to sign somebody off the street. The funny thing is that they've actually, the past 2 years since they were good, they've made a couple of significant signings of just like guys who you thought were super washed, like who were just sitting around unemployed waiting for like a playoff team to call.
Who's an example?
And Ndamukong Suh was awesome for them 2 years ago. They also
you're not going to say, oh no.
What? Who do you think I'm going to say?
Continue. Just go.
Linval Joseph that year was also very good. And last year, now I'm self-conscious about it, but Julio Jones was not bad for them.
That's what I knew you were going to say. He couldn't even move. He
was the third receiver. He was fine. Whatever. He wasn't right. He wasn't like prime Julio or friggin' prime Randy Moss, but he was fine.
He was a decent option in the red zone for them.
Yes. Yeah. That's a success when you're picking guys up off the scrap heap. Like, that's a success.
I guess you have a very low standard of picking up guys on the scrap heap. Then,
yes,
like if they have some sort of positive impact in any way, it was a good move.
Yes. So the list again, it's not inspiring. The best name that you saw in there was Jason Pierre-Paul is looking like the best option for them.
JPP, once your favorite player.
Another former New York G-man. So come on down.
He was your favorite player in 2015.
Yep.
Well, that'd be fun. Not a great time to go into Baltimore, though, with some injuries.
Definitely not. I'm hoping I'm really rooting for them tonight. At the time we're recording this, they're about to play the Chargers, so definitely don't want to face a pissed off, desperate Ravens team at home next week. So, stop.
Come on. You really think that they have a better chance at beating the Ravens if the Ravens win this game as opposed to if the Ravens lose this game?
Of course I do. Oh, you don't think that as a team gets more desperate, they scratch and claw and fight a little bit harder? No.
Okay. I think it can go either way. But I don't think the Ravens would be desperate if they lost this game anyway. I think they're fine. But whatever. I mean, no, I don't think what the Ravens do tonight is going to impact what the Ravens do a week from now. I really don't.
Okay. All right. Well, the way that they're playing now, the Eagles, I'm not saying they're going to go undefeated or win the Super Bowl, but I think they can hang with anybody. I'll take my chances against any team, any place. Like, when your defense is playing like that and you have a rushing attack, that stuff travels,
I agree. You sound a little overconfident now, though.
No, God, you know me, dude. I'm the least confident person.
You just said I'll take them any team, any place.
I said I'll take my chances. I'm not saying that they're going to go to Kansas City or Buffalo and smack them around, I'm saying, like, yeah, let's go. Tight game in the fourth quarter. I like my chances.
NFC Championship game in Detroit. You like your chances?
Yeah, I do.
Wow. Look at this confidence. This is something.
I do. I think Detroit. You know what's funny about Detroit is, like, they're obviously great. I think the Eagles have a better roster. I'm sorry. I think their receivers are better.
Who
I
are you
think
sorry to? Who are you apologizing to?
To America, because they all, you're not allowed to say that, that anyone's better than the Lions, but yeah, I think the Eagles have a better roster all around. I think the loss of Hutchinson really hurts them, and I think that they do this thing, and, like, I remember everybody, like, used to make fun of the Cowboys for doing this last year, but, like, I mean, they just run up the score on all these horrible teams. It's like they're up 42-6 against the Jaguars, and they're, like, passing it deep halfway through the fourth quarter. It's like, what are we doing?
Have some
So,
fun. I don't know.
okay, well, that's great. Great to show all your cards and all of your plays when you're up
That's
by
what they're
35.
doing. Yeah, they're up 42-7. They're showing all their plays.
Hey, it might be nice to keep some of those in the bag for when you really need it, but
I'm sure they're not doing anything they're not giving away any real, like, plays that they need in a big spot. Up 42-7.
We'll see. They have a tough schedule coming down the stretch. I don't see them losing more than one or two games. So the path for the 1 seed is there for the Eagles. I don't think it's going to happen, but it's possible.
It's very possible.
Yeah, Detroit has some tough games coming up too. They got Buffalo, they got San Francisco. I think they play the Packers again, so it's their schedule is tough.
All right, well, that's our Eagles recap. More than just like a recap of the game, just kind of like a touch base on the Eagles. We haven't talked enough about them recently, as they're 9-2. So thanks for listening. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe.
Philly pride insists that's all. Andrew Rappin and Wild Bulls. Together they talk sports and dreams. Right behind the scenes. It seems Philly versus NY. Hear the call. Who's the greatest? Who will fall with this rivalry? Loud and clear. Join the chat. It's time to cheer. Sports and culture all in one. Catch the fire, feel the fun. Andrew, Sis, that Brad unite. Philly NY in the spot.